After watching this video, you will know how to edit dimension units, change the resolution, create roundoffs for dimensions, add prefixes and suffixes. This is done with the Annotation Units Settings component. The component can be found in the Rhino tab's Annotations section. We are again expanding on the script used in previous two videos. This part is explained in the linear and aligned dimension components video. This part is explained in the Annotation Dimension Settings, and in this video we'll be focusing here. This is the example we are using. We are using the same aligned dimension component as before. This creates all the dimensions. To use the component, you simply connect it to the unit settings input of the aligned dimension component, and you can start editing your unit settings. Similarly to the other settings components, this has quite a lot of parameters. Let's start exploring them one by one. First, we have the length units format. In total, you have 10 options to choose your units. I recommend using the model units, but if for some reason you don't want to use them, you can change them with this input. If you're creating drawings inside the model space and for some reason you don't want to use the same scale as is in the model space, you can use the length factor to change the scale. So this basically multiplies the dimension that you have. I will set this to 10 and our dimensions have been multiplied by 10. I recommend keeping this at 1 or at no input at all. Now the linear resolution changes the precision of the displayed values. So if you're working in millimeters, the resolution might be set to 0, or if you're working in meters, you might want to set it to 3. Now the roundoff input will round the values to the closest value of x intervals that you have chosen. If I set this to 0.1, it will now round the values to the closest 0.1. If I set it to 1, it will round the values to the closest 1. You can also use this to round, for example, to the closest 20 or to the closest 5. If you set it to 0, there will be no roundoff. If you want to display prefixes and suffixes, you simply connect the text that you want to the inputs. Remember that you need to add the space at the end, or the dimension will start directly after the text. You also have the option to add a zero suppression. You can suppress leading, trailing, and both. There are also some options for feet and inches, but I'm not gonna go there. Let's first find some dimensions that have leading or trailing zeros. So here we have 2 trailing zeros. If I set the zero suppression to 2, it will suppress trailing zeros. Let's find some leading zeros. Here we have some leading zeros. If I set this to 1, it's going to suppress the leading zeros, so everything before the decimal mark. You can also choose if you want to have your fractions like this, or if you want to stack them like this. You also have an input to change the fraction height scale. I think it's supposed to scale this, but at least in my experiments I couldn't get it to work. Now for the last 4 inputs, you have the same options for angular dimensions that you had for linear dimensions at the start of the component. That is all for now. If you learned something, drop a like and subscribe to the channel to keep on learning.